So why is it harder for men to go through this pain of separation and divorce? And I didn't know this, and found out that women, and this is just based on the research that's been done, women, they tend to have friends. So if a woman goes through this, if you are a woman and you're going through separation and divorce, the chances are you have a lot of friends. So you have this, your circle is very intimate, but you have them. You have a few good friends, at least 2, 3, 4 friends, and you share, and there is this close net. Now, obviously, they can influence that person in terms of their thoughts and all of that stuff, but the idea is that there is that support system is in place, at least in that sense. But for men, most of the time, we don't have the same type of support system. So usually what men do when we go through hardship like this, if at best, right? So we have few friends, and it's all about distraction. So we don't talk about our feelings. We don't talk about how this thing sucks. We don't talk about the fact that this is brutal. I am on my knees and I am weeping every evening. We don't do that. So what do we do instead? Well, we get distracted. We go, okay, let's go do this as sports, or let's go to the pub. It's quite hilarious. So that's the difference. Women, they tend to share their feelings with their close circles. Men, we don't do that. It's not acceptable. At least societally, we are told that men, you're not going to feel any pain. You have to stay strong. And thank you. And the idea that ever you should show your feelings is nonsense for a man. What does that mean? Right? So that is why for divorce and separation, especially for men, it's harder, because we feel, and it's so true, and it was my experience when I experienced it, then I learned about it, in terms of the science and psychology of it, and it was bang on. It was like completely correlated by exactly what I read. It's like, yeah, I felt the same. Now, I had friends, I had good friends, right? And they meant well, they did, and I love them. I love all of them. I've got 3 close friends. And, but again, I mean, no one knows what to do, right? And there was one friend, best friend for 30 some odd years, 40 years, that I shared my pain, and I felt bad immediately, and I tried to not continue. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? It's like, because you're programmed, society, the cultural thing that, oh man, no, you have to be strong. Oh, you get up, what do you mean? You just have to put your head down and go. And but this was not physical pain. This was something else. And then it happened to another friend. And so this is why it's so important. I suggest the suggestion that my friend, first one, gave to get a counselor. And I really, really also suggest that, because that's the only outlet I had to pour out all the inner thoughts and feelings and that energy, because to be honest, nobody else is equipped to understand that. And putting it on friends and those who are not equipped, that's just unfair. And we are just not built like that. And then that has opened up many doors. If you are a woman going through this ordeal, again, I'm very sorry. At least there is that inner support. But I still believe that a good counselor is good. It's an amazing asset. And but if you're a man, well, you do need to. It's a must to get a counselor of some kind, and make sure that they're good counselors, right? And then if you do find a good friend that you can open up to, and he is open to, or the friend, I should say, gender neutral here, is open to listen to you and just listen, because unless they're equipped with tools and techniques in psychotherapy to help you and asking you the right questions, they just have to listen. Then that's great. But I do think that the wisdom of a good psychotherapist or a counselor, it's invaluable, and it can guide you through some tough questions that you have to answer. And that's the only way that you can start understanding who you are and rebuilding your identity the way you want to. None of this is going to be an easy task. None of it. And I have to be honest with you. And if anybody says it is, that's a lie. Requires a lot of pain. Requires for you to sit and accept the side of you that you have never felt before and never accepted before, and then do something about it, okay? And that's the key, something about it. And the other thing about it is that you want to be aware and be cognizant of the fact that a lot of close people to you, it happened in my case, they give you all of these advice, and you need to not do that, okay? You need to be aware of it. You can listen, they mean well and all that stuff, but really at the end, it is all about, nothing should muddy the water for you in terms of self-improvement and introspection. This should be all about you and the most unbiased view of a process that can help you to move forward, and so that you live a more authentic life that is your choosing. Just be cognizant of that, right? And a lot of advice is going to come your way. Just be aware of it. But the ones that you want to take on the most are the ones that it elevates your being, adds value to your development. A good counselor does that. There are questions that the counselor will ask and guide you through certain things, certain way of thinking and reflecting on your own. But given that they're professionals and they're trained, they can do that. Or a professional coach, for example, lifestyle coach, right? Or life coach. But not everybody can. So be aware of that, because you're going to save yourself a lot of pain and disorientation and confusion. Because if you start listening to one friend and then another, sure enough, there will be a lot of conflicting things that's happening and conflicting messages that comes to you. So, and that's not going to help you at all, okay? In fact, it's going to really confuse you more, and without any intention. Obviously, they're there they want to help, but again, this is what I'm talking about. In fact, that you need to kind of not even allow that if you can. And one of the things that I did, I didn't allow any conversation with those that I felt that they are not equipped to help me at all. And in fact, not only that, but I actually wasn't associating with them, or at least I reduced the time that I used to spend with them, just because of exactly that, because I knew that that's going to warp my understanding and my growth if I continue having a conversation. And then the other one is that in my case, and later on I found out that that was a great advice that my counselor gave me, was that I try to not attract the same type of people who are in the middle of the same life events, right? Because you know the saying, the misery loves company. That is true, and that's not a good thing. So you need to stay away from that as well. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't hang out with such people. It's just that because they've got their own view of things and what is happening, and not everybody is into self-reflection and self-improvement. So a lot of people deal with it differently and not in a healthy way. So that can influence your growth, okay, and your view. So be aware of that. Share your thoughts and comments. Definitely, yeah. I want to know if you are doing any of that stuff, or what else you're doing. Is there anything that you're doing differently that is helping you in terms of relationship with others? And if you're a female woman going through this hardship right now, how are you dealing with it? Did that resonate at all? What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you're a man, what do you think about that? You may have with friends that they are actually quite open and they're understanding, and share. I would love to hear. All right, until next time, my friends, be well, be well.